53 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
In everybody here at the hub at TPC Southwind. Ooh, it's bustling today. Heat's going to go up. Will the scores? And I'll bet you $1 billion. Phil didn't bet $1 billion. That's way too much money. We're going to talk a little bit later with TJ Reeves about that. Andy Schiffman on the NBA. As always, he'll come your way toward the bottom of the hour. Brian Dacus is going to be out here. We got a bunch of things we'll talk about with him. And we are going to open things up here in just a minute with Joe Tomic, the executive director, second year here for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Big day yesterday for Jordan Spieth. Man, I was happy to see that. Jordan Spieth, multiple majors in a very short period of time, very quiet this year, not much. I know he had to be pleased for sure. Tom Kim, who made a fashion statement yesterday, I really thought that was the way his pants were going to be. I was kind of following Ricky Fowler, but then I'd watch shots from Kim, and then behind him you had Scheffler, you had McIlroy, you had Rahm, you had throngs of thousands that were watching that. That was kind of fun. But Kim, who had a great round, and I love this guy, 20 years old, the world is going to be his. But he was wearing these things, and I thought, okay, maybe it's wet. He's making a statement. Maybe he's starting a new line of clothing that'll be big in Korea or something. Turns out, when he got off the ninth hole, his 18th, he undid the pants. He just had them rolled up. It was really funny. Watch this kid, though. I got a good feeling about him. We're so glad to be out here. It's brought to you by First National Bank, Jason's Deli, the law offices of Arthur Horn III, Ronnie Grisani's, Olive Branch Motorsports, Lucchese's, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Fratello's Steakhouse in Hernando. Got to get there. Jim's Place Grill, Town Village, Memphis Sports Tourism and Council. I saw Kevin Kane and J.J. Greer. They were one of those observers yesterday. Also, by the way, I saw John Albright, former Tiger, great announcer. He was I guess he's up front security. He was walking with Fowler and would go a shot ahead. That was kind of fun to see him. Colettas is a proud sponsor, and every leaderboard update is brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. So here he is, a man with a million details running through his head. Joe, second year. How's it feel? First off, let's start with the conditions of the golf course. You guys, I think, have done an amazing job. Delayed a little bit, starting at 10:15, a few minutes today. Round two begins. So you guys really played with the way the tee times we're going to go using to. What are the players saying about all this?
Well, Dave, thanks for having me on. Always good to see you out here, my friend. I can't take any credit for the golf course. That is Nick Bazan's and his agronomy team here at TPC Southwind do such an incredible job. To take 2 inches of rain after the summer we've already had yesterday morning, to be playable by 10:15 a.m. is no small feat. So hats off to him and his team for getting it ready. It's been a tough winter and then a tough spring and now summer. So they've battled it, but players are nothing but raving about the course. The greens are in perfect condition, and truly that's all they can really ask for. And it put up some good scores. And crowds.
Yeah. The Rahm on a Thursday, the Rahm, McIlroy, Scheffler crowd, that was like a Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that was wild. I was so impressed to see everyone still come out after the morning we had and delaying the tee times, delaying the gates opening, and for the water the course took on. People still showed up. They showed up. They followed those marquee groups, like you said, but it felt packed, and I think the players appreciated.
Is the tour pleased? This is, the first time first round was 70.
Yeah.
It's a new season. They've taken away the fall's not really a part of for the big names now. Right. Are they pleased with the way this is unfolding?
Yeah, I think so. I think, TPC Southwind, if you ask players, all you can ask for is a fair test. If a player is playing well and putting it in the right spots, they can score here, as Jordan did yesterday. But if they're not, they can get punished like Jon Rahm did yesterday. So I think at the end of the day, that's what you can ask for from a playoff competition course. And from the format changes, I think it's everything that we intended it to be. You have the perfect example is Justin Thomas, world number 20, I think, and he didn't make the playoffs because the season is supposed to be about that year's most qualified and best performing athletes. And so that's what the top 70 does for us. It puts a little bit more build-up and drama leading into Memphis, which is a huge thing for our tournament.
Live clean in place. I know my friend Brett Norsworthy, one of the historians of this thing. This is my 40th. He thought there'd be a 61 to go with Lewis and Estes and Delsing. And it didn't happen yesterday. It was 63. And actually, if he'd go birdie, he could have made it, Jordan Spieth. Is it live clean in place again today? So could we see an unreal score?
It does. It does. I believe they have announced that they're going live clean in place again today. It's still a lot of water out there. So, it was a competition decision to keep the tee times as they were today. Basically, they felt it was fair that if you teed off on the front nine yesterday, you had to face the back nine first today, and there's a good disparity between the first three holes on each side. So,
no doubt.
Just from an equity standpoint, it made sense to keep the tee times as they were, just flip the sides that the guys were starting on.
All right, so tomorrow, if there's no more rain, just off one?
Yeah, plan is to go back to twosomes off one all day long, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., just like it was from the beginning. So, barring no rain, which knock on wood, we're done with the worst of it, that will be our plan for Saturday and Sunday.
All right, and next year, backed up a year.
Yep.
Do we know anything beyond that because of the framework in place with Liv? And is everything still up in the air on all of that? I hate to bug you and ask you about that, but I think everybody wants to know.
Yeah, it's so much in the air. We've got so many things that need to happen. First, we need to come to an agreement, more so than just the shell and the handshake they had. Then it's got to be approved by our players, and it's got to be approved by our board, and then all sorts of things need to come into play. So 24 should be largely undisturbed, just some minor changes because of the Olympics, and we're really happy golf is back in the Olympics. And so 1 week later is fine by us for that.
One of the things that struck me yesterday watching them play Live Clean in Place was also how pros, better than amateurs, know how to use the rules. I saw Rahm get a very favorable placement on 18 when he hit it in the water. I saw the best was on number 5 with Keegan Bradley, who, by the way, should have been 7 under. He missed so many short putts. It was amazing. Struck the ball beautifully. But he's in the rough on the right side, and not only does he get out of the rough and out of that little first cut, he gets on the main fairway where he can place the ball and away from a tree limb because he had official scorer come over and use the rules. It's amazing how, like amateur, I would have just played it.
Yeah.
But they know, and they figure it out.
Oh, yeah, most of those, probably your Keegan example, I wasn't out there, so I didn't see it. But my guess is if you're standing
water,
and you're in standing water, even your feet, your ball, anything, you could take relief. And so especially on a soaking wet day like yesterday, there was a lot of mud out there. There was a lot of standing water on the sides. We had a great time draining, obviously, the fairways, but they're no dummies. They know how to use the rules, and as long as they're within the rules, you don't really consider it, cheating or anything like that. They're using the parameters that we give them, and they're smart about it.
They are. Being the executive director, you can't root for anybody, I'm guessing. But using your knowledge here, who do you like to walk away with this on Sunday?
So I'll
give you. You can name 3 people.
All right. Well, my barometer has always been whoever I see first on property, and Aaron Rye was the first one here. He showed up Saturday morning to practice, and he was here all weekend. So I got to throw him up here. It didn't work out for me last year, but we'll give it another shot. I don't even know how he finished yesterday. I'd love to see Jordan do it. It's been
be a great story for everybody.
It'd be great for the tournament. He's one that he just on Monday did a great stunt with our friends at FedEx with a patient at St. Jude, and we have some good fortune here. I think there's something along 10 out of the last 11 winners have had some relationship with the hospital, whether that's wearing artwork or visiting the hospital or making a donation.
Dustin Johnson, when he jarred it that year, he'd given a big thing at the auction on the Wednesday deal. That's
he
funny.
Did it. Justin Thomas
That's
did
amazing.
It. Daniel Berger's always been a really good supporter, and he's won it twice. So that's something to keep an eye on. And of course, Jordan was down at the hub for FedEx earlier this week.
You're pretty good 2 for 2 here. Aaron Rye, by the way, 4 under, so he's tied for 5th.
There we go.
Jordan's leading. Who's your 3rd?
I got to go with Rory. I always go with Rory. He's the year he went through last year, and on behalf of the PGA Tour, and that's obviously who I work for. You gotta fight for him, and he's the reigning FedEx Cup champion. He knows how to win in the playoffs, so that's nothing to ignore.
That's Scotty Scheffler?
Scotty's a good one. He's had a hot season. With the top 70, it's hard to pick anyone because they're all so talented. They had great seasons. That's why they made it here, and that's what makes the playoffs fun is anyone can win it.
Last thing really quick, second year here, Memphis feel like home now. You came from Florida, right?
Yeah, I was down in Jacksonville where I work for PGA Tour headquarters, so moved here just over 18 months ago, I guess, at this point, and we love it. We love the city. We love being a part of this tournament. It has such a rich history and has now gotten to such a big platform, and for us, we're really proud of this tournament representing the city on a global stage. It's broadcast to billions of homes around the world, and it's important for me and my team to be able to show that message and of course, add in the relationship with FedEx and St. Jude, and it's the easiest message to tell, that's for sure. We
thank you for dropping by. Honestly, I know you're busy.
Yeah, bud.
Appreciate it, and, so far so good. I think today's crowds are going to be up a good 30-40% from what they were yesterday.
Bring them in. It's going to be a beautiful day. We're going to have some good golf and a lot of fun.
Bring sunglasses. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's Joe Tomek. He's the executive director of the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Going to be a lot of fun. Who knows who's going to be standing with a trophy on Sunday. Our title sponsor for this program, it's Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where there are cars galore. And if you're looking for a G70, if you finance with Genesis, you get a $1,000 rebate. And by the way, plenty of pre-owned cars right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78. That's Lamar. We're talking 10 minutes. By the way, they got 78 really moving again. It's really easy to get to, and the best people in the world are working there. Homer Skelton Hyundai. And don't forget that clearance sale at Family Leisure. They are really moving things because they got prices that are unbelievable. You can get $1,000 off a swimming pool if you're a do-it-yourself guy. There's $2,000 or under pools. It's amazing, the savings. Patio furniture, 30% off. And during this clearance sale, you actually can get special financing. All you got to do is see Billy and Lindsay and all the crew at I-40 and Wooden Road. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together. Just very quickly as they get set to tee off here in 1 minute, the Sissy Log Cabin leaderboard says Jordan Spieth shot 7 under. Tom Kim, I was talking about him, is 6 under. Emiliano Grillo, Colin Morikawa there at 5 under. And the story about Morikawa is great. For those of us who have gone to Maui many, many times, I'm stunned. I actually looked it up today. The Lahaina Civic Center, where the Maui Classic is still standing, because that's a little north of downtown. So that's standing. The hotels are standing. So that's good news. But it's been devastating there. 55 people now have perished, minimum. And Colin Morikawa, who grew up in L.A., but his family is from Maui, actually has a restaurant, Morikawa's, in Maui. He's giving $1,000 per birdie to the folks that need their help in Maui. I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, let's head down to Tampa. Guy who used to do PGA Tour radio for Sirius XM, still sideline for Tampa, and they got a game tonight. The Bucks do. TJ Reeves, as he usually joins us on Tuesdays, kind enough to join us out here because we love his insight into golf. And I'll bet you $1 billion, TJ Reeves, Phil Mickelson didn't bet $1 billion.
Hey, good morning. That's kind of Woloshin money. I am envious of you because I have told you on many occasions, not only have I worked that tournament previously for PGA Tour Radio and PGAtour.com, but I was there as a fan all through the 70s and the 80s as a little guy. We would always come back to Memphis in the summer and be part of what was the Danny Thomas Memphis Classic and eventually the FedEx St. Jude Classic as it is now. And now it's a tour playoff event. So high profile, love it for the hometown, and you got a big-time field, obviously, the 70 best players and a big-time leaderboard. So I would love to be where you are. But I guess, it's kind of like 1 and 1A because I know it's preseason, but the NFL is back, and I'm working an NFL game tonight with the Steelers. So
Well,
I'm not going to bet you $1 billion. I'm not going to bet you $1 billion, which we don't believe that that's the real number, you and I. But I bet I have a good time, and I bet you have a good time today.
Yes. You know what? I love NFL football, but I'm not a big fan of preseason football, so I'd rather be here. One of the few times I could say that to you.
Right.
Jay Monahan had a meeting on Tuesday with players here. 25 showed up. Very, very sparsely attended. He claims he talked to everybody anyway. He wasn't alarmed at it. Tiger Woods, who's now on the board because the players asked for him to be their representative, he was not here. He might have been on Zoom for all I know. I can't answer that one. What is your take? And there's still no real true definition of a framework with a merger with Liv.
So there's 2 or 3 things, and we'll just move quickly because I know you want to cover lots of stuff. I mean, the first thing is this is the first time he's explained anxiety issues and obviously stress and, perhaps high blood pressure. He didn't elaborate much. He talked a little bit to ESPN. That's the first time in 3 weeks he's explained his absence. And my initial reaction to that when I read it was, I bet. I bet this is stress-inducing and anxiety-inducing because you did a deal with the very people you were vilifying, and you did it really without the approval of the players who ultimately run the tour. And my sense, and from people that I've talked to, is the last chapters are not written on whether he sticks around, on whether this new company actually comes to fruition or not. Here we sit in August, and they still can't put specifics in front of the players on what this is going to be because it hasn't been agreed to yet. So onward we march. I'm a fan of great golf, and let's see what happens with the Tour playoffs and the Tour Championship. We've got the Ryder Cup coming up, and I have said to you, you look at Bryson DeChambeau shooting the 58 last week at the Greenbrier, which by the way, that's where the PGA Tour used to play for many years in an event. And there's tremendous golf being played on that series, too. I'm on the record as saying over and over again, I believe Liv Golf plays next year, despite all the talking points and the parroting of PGA Tour talking points back a few weeks ago that Liv Golf would go away. I think it's still going to be around. And I don't think that's a bad thing because interest in the game is interest in the game worldwide. So let's see what happens, and I'm anxious to see how this plays out in Memphis for sure this weekend. And we'll see if Jay Monahan sticks around or not. I mean, there is no dispute. You agree with this, and I'm sure you've been talking about it. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy at this point are the de facto 1 and 1A commissioners. They are the ones that are ultimately going to make the biggest decisions. And that is what that move was transparently made for, was to have Tiger be part of the board and the inner workings, and the players now outrank everybody else on the board to be able to make moves and do what they want. And they also got the agreement the commissioner can't act without them anymore, which was also huge.
Right. I would agree that what occurred was the players, and in particular Tiger and Rory, Tiger really, they will have a lot more influence with the commissioner than in the past. And the commissioner will never try to do a deal on his own again in secret because
he can't by the rules they put in.
It basically caused him enough mental stress that he had to take a month off. Right? I mean, we know that for a fact.
And they have now passed a policy that he can't act without them any longer for something like, and that includes, I think they're at the forefront now of talking with the PIF fund and how to make it all work. So we'll see. I still firmly believe you're going to have 2 tours next year. Let's see what happens on that one.
I think you're right. I won't argue at all. Your favorite FESJC moment other than hanging out with me?
Of course it's hanging out with you by a mile. Yeah. We were driving around, working PGA Tour Radio. You were hanging with me. That was a while ago, though. That's been a while.
My
twins just started their sophomore year in high school, and when we were doing that, they were 1-0.
Oh, my gosh. So that's 15 years ago.
It's been a little while on that one. But
that was Brian Gay when he won it, right?
Brian Gay won it in a runaway, 2009, when I was on the call there on that one. And you've had Dustin Johnson with the walk-off moment, the hole out of the fairway is obviously phenomenal. But I keep saying to you, speaking of DeChambeau's 58, I was a little TJ at Colonial, different course, when Al Geiberger in this tournament shot the 59. I was there that day. I'm obviously not remembering.
You were not. You were not there.
Yes, our family would come to Memphis.
I don't remember you ever saying that.
Really? Listen, we're going to have to start working on your memory loss.
My memory?
I've told you this story like 3 or 4 times on your show. We would come back to Memphis for summer vacation, and we would always go to the golf tournament if we were there that week.
I do remember that.
And I was there.
Wow.
I was there that week for Guy Berger's. I was there that day. Again, I'm too little. I'm like a 7 or 8-year-old teacher. It was 77, right? I'd be 7. I'm not going to remember shot for shot what Guy Berger did, but that is forever synonymous with this event. So this event has had some huge moments in the past, and let's see if there's another big finish here this weekend.
So let me work on these memory skills that you were just talking about.
Yes.
I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago that you told me, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to watch the most hyped welterweight fight, 2 unbeatens since Hearns and Leonard. And by the way, Errol Spencer is going to wipe up Terrence Crawford. Is my memory correct on that?
Your memory is correct. You have a good memory. And I think Terrence Crawford just got done hitting Errol Spence about 5 minutes ago. He beat him up. It was not pretty. And what an experience that was, just real quick. I know you've been part of world title fights, the Lennox Lewis-Mike Tyson fight in Memphis at the Pyramid.
Yeah.
It was cool to go experience that in Las Vegas. Huge revenue fight with the live gate and the pay-per-view. So it was neat to go be part of that. It was not a heavyweight title fight, but it was in the context of boxing, a huge, significant fight over the last few years. So it was neat to go be part of that whole scene.
Last thing tonight, Bucs Steelers. You'll be on the call.
Yes, the Baker Mayfield debut tonight as the starter. He's battling the former Browns and Panthers and Rams quarterback. 4th team for Baker Mayfield already as a former number 1 overall pick. He is battling with former Florida quarterback Kyle Trask, who had the great year in 2020 and has been in the backup role, the deep freeze behind some guy named Tom Brady the last couple of years. So they're battling 1 and 1A. It's really the first time in about 8 or 9 years the Bucs have had a quarterback battle. So Mayfield starts tonight. Kyle Trask will start next Saturday night in New York when the Buccaneers play the Jets. So we're anxious for all this to get underway. It is the first year PB post Brady, the first time in 4 years that we don't have that. So it gets underway tonight for however long we see Mayfield and the starters, some of the starters that are playing for both the Bucs and the Steelers. We'll see what happens.
And if I recall correctly, only 3 exhibition games, right?
That's correct. They've cut it back to 3. So these first 2 are the most meaningful.
Will we see more starters because of that?
You would see more starters go longer in the first 2 games because they basically don't play in the 3rd game for the most part. So, yes, you'll see probably starters through the first half of most of the games tonight. And there are a bunch of games all over the NFL tonight and Saturday. So I agree with you. It's preseason. It's exhibition stuff. You're seeing a lot of backups and backups to the backups. A lot of guys that are going to be on the waiver wire in a couple of weeks are going to play the second half of these games. But football is back, and it means college football is not far behind down the road here.
Absolutely. All right, my friend, thank you much. I appreciate your flexibility this week, and enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk next Tuesday. Yes, sir. Have fun out there. I am envious of being there. Let's see if we get some great scoring and some drama this weekend out of the FESJC, the tour event. All right, my friend. Be well. That's our man. That is TJ down in Tampa. He's brought to you by Conway. Yes, it's going to be hot, high humidity today. No question about that. And is your air conditioning system working? Now, I know you probably got the tune-up, so you're probably in good shape. But if you haven't, 384-3511. If anything goes wrong, they're amazing how they get to you. They figure out a way to send somebody. Once they're there, they'll figure it out. They really do. I mean, they will take care of you. You got an air conditioning problem today, this weekend. They work 7 days a week, 384-3511. Go see my friends at Conway. And the wonderful weekend is almost upon us. How are you stocked up with your spirits? Go see Eddie Connor. He's the doctor to remedy any kind of shortage, I promise. Eddie Connor in the Spirit Shop, 4848 Poplar. That's that little log cabin down from Clark Tower. You've passed it by a million times. It's not so little. It really isn't. There's a lot of product in there. And it ranges from very valuable, like some unreal bourbons, Pappy's, even better. Or there's the up-and-comers. There's what will be valuable, some wines like Cobblestone was a couple of years ago. You could get it for almost nothing. They were a startup. Now it's valuable. Eddie Connor can tell you exactly what that will be with tequila, with vodka, with any spirit. He'll give you the education. He'll give you a good price. Service beyond compare. Location, 4848 Poplar in St. Nick. You can't beat the Spirit Shop. We're back in a minute. We'll talk some NBA with our agent in Chicago. At Priority Sports, that's Andy Schiffman, and he comes your way next.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Purchase a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Conway Services today and get up to $1,750 back plus a free Nest thermostat when Conway Services buys back your old, inefficient HVAC system. Guaranteed service and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Conway Services today. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back to the Hub. Oh, yeah, we're having a lot of fun. There is a Cobblestone wine, but my wife just texted me. I meant to say Cornerstone. Oh, man, she's never wrong. So I correct that. So go see Eddie and ask about Cobblestone or Cornerstone. I think you'll be okay any way that you look at it. We've got so many people in here today, and because this hub has been so freezing, all these bodies in here have actually warmed it up. It's almost tolerable. I know it's not cold in Chicago, that's for sure. That's where we go next. We have not talked to our friend, and I don't know. What has Andy Schiffman been doing the last few weeks? I know you're always busy. How are you?
Dave, it hurts me. Come on, we spoke last week. We just had to move my time up a little bit.
Say that's right. I have had memory problems all day long.
You're having too much fun out there.
I don't know. Do I need Prevagen? There's a new thing besides Prevagen I hear. I may have to start looking into that. All right. So your dad.
How hot is it at the tournament right now?
Very tolerable right now, but it's going to get to be 90 today, but feels like it's going to be low hundreds. It's going to be hot and humid because we got all this moisture on the ground from the last 2 days.
Could be worse.
Could be worse because the best players in the world are here. Your dad loves golf. I know you like golf. Have you got a favorite FESJC memory or Danny Thomas Memphis Open memory?
You know, growing up, my dad would always take me to the tournament every summer. And when I was little, I specifically remember trying to go and see all the golfers. And, of course, you know me, trying to get autographs. And so I still have it. I had this Titleist visor, I think when I was maybe like a freshman in high school. And we were walking around, and Phil was coming off. Phil Mixon was coming off one of the holes, and it was I think it was the practice round, or right before the tournament was really kicking off. And there was a mob of people, and he stopped to sign autographs for everyone. And so this was when he was going through everything with his wife, with her health issues. So one by one, all of these people were sending their condolences to Phil. He was signing autographs, and they were like, hey, you know, hope everything works out with your wife. Hope everything works out with your wife. Keep doing my prayers one by one by one. And so I was an immature, silly little kid, and however old I was, 15 years old, let's say, and I kind of thought at the time, you know, maybe mix it up a bit, throw him a curveball. And I kid you not, he comes up to me and signs my visor. And I said, Phil, you ever think about playing some holes right-handed? And he kind of stopped and laughed, and he was like, I think it's been working out for me pretty good as a lefty. I said, fair enough. And he kept walking.
You do know that he actually is right-handed? He does everything else right-handed except play golf?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, I knew that, but just wanted to
that's
kind
crazy.
of mess him a little bit and throw a wrench in his routine there. But, yeah, it's always fun going there.
It did not faze him.
No.
I think what has fazed him is this information about he bet $1 billion over 30 years. I don't buy that for 1 second, though.
Yeah, I think that's a stretch. But, look, I think that's partly true. I've heard that he is a gambler and a better on sports. And, again, all these guys. I mean, Michael Jordan's notorious for it, getting out there on the golf course. And you get with a certain group of people that have a certain level of wealth, I think they have to find some way to make certain things interesting. And I think for a lot of people, that's their vice. So maybe it's not $1 billion, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's well over 6 figures and maybe up north of 7 figures. But no, the tournament's a great time. I'm glad you're there. I miss going there. Grew up every summer going there and wanting to leave 4 hours in because you're just completely drenched in sweat with the humidity. It's a different level of hot out there, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yesterday, the news broke. Tyler Harris signed with a team called Lucentum Alicante. I believe it's a Spanish team. What do you know about that? What kind of money is my man Tyler Harris going to make?
Well, I don't know the specific team. I haven't had players play there. It sounds like a second division team in Spain. It's not. I don't believe that's a first division team. So realistically, that could mean maybe close to $80,000 to $100,000 gross. So after tax, It might be somewhere between $50,000 to $75,000. I'm trying to look up the team, but I think. Look, I'll tell you this: second division. Sometimes people kind of turn their nose at second division. And if you can get in there as a rookie, especially in Spain, that's a really good place to be to grow a career in Europe because the best league outside of the NBA is the Spanish ACB league. You got Barcelona, you got Madrid, obviously where Luka Doncic played. Nikola Mirotic was in Barcelona. I mean, the all-time greats in European basketball typically played in Spain in that league at some point, first division. So what that will do for Tyler, if this is in fact a second division team in Spain, Dave, it will give him exposure to those teams to where maybe he couldn't make that jump right now, but if he goes out there and helps his team win, and if you finish in the top 2 places in the second division in Spain, following year you get promoted, similar to soccer, to first division. So if he does well, he plays well, his team wins, all of a sudden in the next 2 years, he could be in First Division Spain, making good money and just playing higher level competition.
Speaking of Spain and the upper divisions, you mentioned Barcelona. Jabari Parker, who just a couple of years ago, it seems like he was second pick overall, right? He's signed with Barcelona. Does that mean he's a bust?
Well, as his agent, I wouldn't call it a bust, Dave.
Oh, no, he's your guy? Every week, you guys got more guys than I know how to keep up with. That's incredible.
You walked into that
Steve
one.
Kerr is your guy. I didn't know it. Jabari Parker is your guy. All right, well, explain this to me, because to me, this looks like he didn't make it in the NBA.
Well, you forget that he also made, $40, $50, $60 million in the NBA, apart from his rookie deal. So he switched to us probably his fourth or fifth year in the league. So we didn't have him fresh out of Duke. He's a Chicago-based kid, obviously, great guy. So look, the biggest thing with him was health. I mean, he's obviously had knee issues, injuries, bad injuries, kept him out, battled his way back. So objectively speaking, as one might try and be in this situation despite representing him, by no means is he a bust, because he did have success in the NBA at some level. He did play and have $20 million plus contracts for a number of years. I think he got that here in Chicago when we started representing him. He had that in Milwaukee, obviously. The difficult part with Jabari, Dave, is he's kind of been through this window now where you're a veteran in the NBA, and once you have a significant injury like Jabari had, it's very hard to come back from. It's very hard. And even up to that point in time, I don't believe he was this consistent rotational player, and so he's just trying to work his way back in. He had a short stint with the Celtics a couple of years ago, just battled his way back from injury. So that's been the biggest obstacle. It has nothing to do with his talent and skill set. And so we evaluated tons of options. He worked out for a few NBA teams this summer, and then we had this opportunity come up. Like, Jabari was going to get a training camp opportunity. So at the end of the day, we were going to get Jabari, at the very least, a non-guaranteed camp invite somewhere to go in and compete to make an NBA roster. And he could do it. But all of a sudden, then we have this opportunity come up in Barcelona. And again, when you talk about, he just kind of forgotten about he's a bust, he didn't make it. That deal is well over 7 figures. So in terms of the juxtaposition,
good for him.
For a guy like Tyler Harris, yeah, exactly. There are a lot of NBA veterans that turn down training camp opportunities in the NBA because something like this comes up. Even just today, P.J. Dozier, who's a long-term NBA veteran, just signed with one of the top teams in Serbia. Another guy that probably could go into an NBA training camp with a chance to make the team with no money guarantee, but now he's opting to go to a team called Partizan in Serbia, and Jabari's doing this with Barcelona. So it's our whole message to these guys, Dave, in these situations is your goal and our goal is to get you back in the NBA. Sitting out's not going to do anything for you. You don't have that track record well enough to go and just get a call in November, December, having not played for over a year now. And going down to the G League is a waste of time for a veteran guy like that. The G League is not built to reward veterans like Jabari Parker. And so the level of competition in the ACB, as I mentioned earlier, in Barcelona, where you're playing against top-level European players like another one of our other guys, Sasha Vezenkov, who was with the top team in Greece, Olympiacos, just signed a multi-year guaranteed deal with Sacramento. He is now playing for a team at which that level is one where NBA teams will pay attention to. They will scout. Those teams, the Barcelona, the other team in Serbia I mentioned, they give players a platform to get back to the NBA, and it happens every summer, versus lower-level teams, versus sitting out, versus going down to the G League. So it could happen for Jabari. He's excited. No better place to play than living in Barcelona for 10 months and then playing. Again, it's playing, right?
I love Barcelona.
Going and playing. Yeah, you're going to play 20-plus minutes a night on a big stage where every single week you're playing in a game where the atmosphere is tantamount to the NCAA Final Four, versus going down to the G League or trying to fight and scratch and claw to get a 10-day in the NBA where you're just not going to play. That's what players forget a lot of times, is they want to do anything they can to get the 15th spot on an NBA roster where you're just not going to play, barring injury. Like, go play basketball. Go over to Europe, make a career for yourself, make some good money, but go play.
The money now is unbelievable. Anthony Davis, 3-year contract extension, $186 million. That is $62 million per year. Wow. I mean, how are we going to start seeing a lot of deals like this?
Absolutely. The salary cap is only going up. In the next couple of years, you'll see a new TV deal with the NBA, which affects what's called basketball-related income, which has a major, major, major impact on the salary cap and what teams can spend, and that is only going up. And so when you talk about, like Anthony Davis, a max extension or a max deal, these extensions are percentages off of the player's prior season. So as everything continues to increase, the max salary increases, the extensions increase, and then this domino effect, the mid-level exception, what's called the biannual exception, the taxpayer and the non-taxpayer and the room mid-levels, the amount of money the teams have to spend is only increasing. And so it's funny, like I kind of walk, in our office, and you've been in our office, we have all this artwork of players and their deals, and deals we've done for a variety of players, draft picks, and veteran players. And so one of the stories that caught my eye for whatever reason yesterday as I was walking in was Gordon Hayward's $120 million extension years ago when he just signed with Charlotte. And now you put that in perspective, like that's a foreign number for a superstar player. That's a low-end number. Now, granted, obviously Gordon's had some injuries since he did that deal, but that number for a max-level player is a moot point now because the money is so much greater, and you're going to see players signing extensions for $250, $300 million. You just saw Jaylen Brown. Again, it's always earmarked, right? The richest NBA contract of history, but that's short-lived. That's fleeting because you're going to see the next superstar sign an extension, and it's going to be for even more money. So as an agent, it's exciting to see that growth on the financial side of the business. It's good for the game of basketball, I think.
It truly is incredible, for sure. All right, last thing. Ja's 24th birthday yesterday. What if you were his agent or his dad or whatever? What would you give Ja for his 24th birthday?
Oh my goodness, that's a loaded question.
Careful.
Yeah. What would I give Ja for his 24th birthday?
Yeah,
I think he's already gotten lectures upon lectures from his agent, I would imagine. So I wouldn't give him a speech, that's for sure. I would do something low key. I would give him some sort of gift, take him out to do a nice dinner, some token of my appreciation, but I would keep it low key. He doesn't need anything. The guy doesn't need anything. He has more money than God, and is going to continue to make more money if he keeps his head on straight and comes back and plays the way he plays and does everything right off the court. So, yeah, I would keep it low key. I don't know what I would give him. Maybe keep him away from the media and keep him away from certain people. It seems like that's been, I mean, you know better than I do, you're there, but it seems like his circle of people has shrunk recently. Correct me if I'm wrong. Certain people have been removed.
He has done a good job of staying out of the picture. I don't know where he is. Nobody knows. He's not on social media. I'm into that. Hey, we got to run. I, again, thank you as always, and we'll talk again next week. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Sounds good. Enjoy the tournament.
I shall. That is our friend, our agent in Chicago from Priority Sports, Andy Schiffman. He's brought to you by Sheldon Rosengarten. Man, I'm sure I'll see Sheldon out here because he loves golf. I see him at Miramichi all the time. And by the way, it's a good play, good weekend to go to Miramichi. Beat the heat by playing early, but you beat the price if you play after 12, even more after 3. They got different tee boxes, just like different tee times and opportunities. They're there to make it easy for you. And look, you want to learn how to play the game and practice. They have the best practice facilities and this beautiful golf course. The back nine, I always say, it's like a walk in the woods with a meandering forest and a waterfall and everything else. Meandering stream. It's a forest. It's beautiful. It's Miramichi in Woodstock. And if you're going to see Sheldon out there, duck, because Sheldon doesn't have time to play. All he can do is maybe go out there, play a couple of holes, and get the heck out of there because he's working on his strategy and he's helping you sell your house. Over the years, Sheldon has been asked to sell properties from many retired or former real estate brokers. They know how good his strategy is, marketing, excellent track record with a reputation that is beyond compare. He works at 24/7. He's the quickest guy to get you with the best price to the closing table. It's because he doesn't have time to play golf. He's working. His number? 483-0546. Sheldon's crazy enough to say, talk to 2 or 3 different brokers, make sure he's one of them, and then you will profit. MemphisRelocate.com, that's the website, or 483-0546. Sheldon Rosengarten, Marks Bensdorf. We'll take a break. When we come back, Brian Dacus is going to join us out here on a myriad of topics. He comes your way from Southwind in just a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Are you ready to conquer the great outdoors? Come in today and gear up with the dependable Suzuki King Quad ATV, because there's no rest for the rugged. Its unparalleled combination of power, versatility, and reliability allow you to tackle the toughest terrains with ease. And right now, there are lots of ways to help you hit the trail, including low APR financing and low monthly payments for qualified buyers, discounts for the military and first responders, and more. Roll into Olive Branch Motorsports in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and experience the Suzuki King Quad ATV's unmatched capabilities today.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up, and if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
FedEx St. Jude Championship time, and we have it for you from TPC Southwind all day with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy, Wolo and Friends, and at noon with John Harden, and 3 to 6 with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan. Wednesday through Friday, come see us. Our coverage brought to you by our title sponsor, Landers Ford Collierville, First National Bank, Jason's Deli, the law offices of Arthur Horn III, Ronnie Grisani's Olive Branch Motorsports, Lucchese's, and all leaderboard updates by Sissy's Log Cabin.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Lonely feeling deep inside. Find a corner where I can hide. Silent footsteps crowding me.
Welcome back in. Final segment of my time at Southwind. I'll be out here tomorrow on 18 for the last few hours, welcoming all the players as they come to the 18th hole. We hope we see you out here, and they will crown a champion on Sunday. Johnny Radio is going to come your way in a minute. We should point out our wonderful sponsors that have kept us out here all week long for you. They are title sponsors: Landers Ford of Collierville, First National Bank, Jason's Deli, the law offices of Arthur Horn III, Ronnie Grisani's. Always love going there. Olive Branch Motorsports, Lucchese's, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Fratello's Steakhouse in Hernando, Jim's Place Grill, Town Village, Memphis Sports Tourism and Council. I mentioned yesterday Kevin Kane and J.J. Greer They were observers. Then there's Coletta's. And all the leaderboard updates, they come your way from Sissy's Log Cabin. Just checking now. Jordan Spieth does not tee off. Well, he's teeing off this very moment. It is 10:51. Off he goes. Tom Kim at 11:27. Eric Cole has birdied the first hole. His first hole, which I believe is number 10. Not an easy hole. So he's at 5 under. So is Emiliano Grillo. He tees off at 11:15. And Colin Morikawa is giving all that money now to Maui. Colin Morikawa is 5 under. Lucas Glover, even through 2 holes today, playing the back nine first. He's at 4 under with Poston and Svensson and a whole bunch of other people. On Fridays, we always end our week with Brian Dacus, finally healthy once again. How are you, and what are you going to do today? Where are you going to go? Are you going to go with Scheffler, Rahm, and McIlroy like everybody in the world?
I'll probably avoid those guys. I followed them for a couple holes yesterday. Big crowd around them, so I'll probably set up around a hole that has shade maybe and just kind of watch everyone roll through. But it's probably the game plan.
A hole with shade is a very intelligent way. It's going to be hot here. So if you're coming, folks, wear a hat. Make sure you have some money for water.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if you're buying beer, then you're ultra wealthy because it's $13.50 a pop. Can you believe that?
That's incredible. But hey, I mean, make your money. I see everyone out here with beer, so I guess they're doing a good job selling it.
I do. And if you need to cool off, come to the Hub, which is not quite as cold as it was the last couple of days.
No, but it's still pretty chilly in here, which is good. You can come in. I see a lot of wheels to be spun, and people are yelling at you. A lot of prizes to be won in here, so come to the Hub and check out everything they got in here. It looks like a lot of fun.
It sure does. All right, so give me your final take here on Tiger basketball team and the trip to the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it was a successful trip, except for the bad salmon. It seemed like half the team and coaching staff ate. I think after their second game. But I mean, ultimately, I think there was a lot of questions coming in. You've built this roster that's just full of transfers and older guys, but older guys that have never played together. And for a lot of these guys, I mean, we talked about it last Friday, for a lot of these guys, they'd only been on campus for a couple of days. And so to be able to go down there, play 3 games, we knew what to expect against the Dominican national team. And I think we saw a good showing from the Tigers, down 20, but then coming back and making it competitive late. But those second 2 games, I mean, you didn't really know what that other team was made of. You didn't really know, what kind of the talent level was going into both those games. So I think a lot of it was more just kind of building that team chemistry, getting these guys playing together at a high level. And so I think you saw the start of that. I liked what I saw. I think you knew what you were going to get from a lot of those veterans. I think it was the freshmen I had the biggest questions about, kind of being in that situation, being so new and so young. I liked what I saw from Carl Scherenfant. He looks like he's going to be a guy that if he's able to get playing time, he's going to be a guy that really goes out there and kind of is super aggressive defensively and also gives you a lot offensively. You saw Ashton Hardaway knock down some shots in the second and third games that I think will be big this year. You'll need some shooting from him. And J.J. Taylor, I mean, we knew he was going to be a high-level recruit when you got him. I think he showed some flashes in the second and third game. So I think overall it was a very successful trip.
What are we hearing on DeAndre? What are we hearing about Mikey, the Williams kids? What are we hearing about Malcolm, which I really don't understand if you've got all these guys still coming. I guess those are the really 3 still unknowns for Penn.
Yeah, so I'll start at the top with DeAndre. I mean, it really haven't heard much of anything. I mean, ever since the university submitted their file for to try to get the waiver for him to play another year, there really hasn't been anything. We're just kind of sitting here waiting on him. I know Penny is still very confident that will go through and that DeAndre will get another year, but right now he's not with the team. I know Joey Dorsey, who was on staff last year, he just graduated last weekend from the University of Memphis, so congratulations to him. But
that's great.
He was flying down to Houston, I believe, yesterday to go work out with DeAndre. So wait,
does that mean Joey's going to be on the staff?
I believe Joey will probably be on the staff again this year. I know him and DeAndre definitely have that good relationship, though, that even if he's not on the staff, it wouldn't surprise me at all him going down to Houston and working out with them. But I think Joey will probably be back again this year. So still nothing, but I know the entire coaching staff feels really good about it. Mikey, I feel like I'm hearing more and more good things about Mikey, which is kind of surprising. I thought it would kind of be the opposite. You would hear less positive things kind of leading up to the start of school and the start of the season. It seems like a lot of people are excited. He was seen in Memphis, I guess, 2 weeks ago when there was a basketball tournament at the new facility over by Tiger Lane. So I know he was there, and there was a video of him. So that made you feel good about him. And then for Malcolm, sounds like St. Louis has filled all their roster spots. So it's looking more likely that he could be back next year. Maybe West Virginia. I've heard that. I've heard Michigan has reached out to him. Gonzaga was the last one to reach out to him, which doesn't make much sense to me, but could definitely give you some stuff off the bench. But Memphis is definitely still in there, and Penny definitely likes the thought of bringing him back.
All right. Thank you, my man.
Thank you, Dave.
Maybe we'll know more answers next Friday when we chat again. You'll listen to more with Bryant and, of course, with Brett and J-Mo back at the studio. That'll come your way at 3. Johnny Radio is going to come your way in just a minute. Let me thank First National Bank, Jason's Deli, Landers Ford, our title sponsor, the law offices of Arthur Horn III, Ronnie Grizzani, Olive Branch Motorsports, Lucchese's, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Fratello's Steakhouse in Hernando, Jim's Place Grill, Town Village, Memphis Tourism, Coletta's, and, of course, Sissy's Log Cabin. And this final portion brought to you by All Memphis. That's Grind City Brewing. That's where you can get the newest. I'm talking about the Thaddeus Amber Lager, or the Belga. That's the Blue Moon style wheat ale, Belgian style, that Grind City has put together. There's Poppy's Pills. That's their number one seller, the Pills. That's what the doctor ordered. And the Godhopper, the India Pale Ale. All those are products of the wonderful brewery downtown that is All Memphis. It is Grind City. Always a pleasure being out here. We got to thank Joe Tomek for coming by. Also, we got to thank Andy Schiffman, TJ Reeves, and Bryant Dacus. That'll do it for me. Until Monday, Johnny Radio's next. Come on out to Southwind, everyone.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial